Recently I've done a couple of different videos on piecing patchwork blocks and the fact that mine weren't very accurate, not as accurate as I had wanted. And that had me do some hand piecing, which came out very well. And now what I'm going to do is take my hand piecing back to my machine, in the sense where what I learned or relearned with hand piecing, I'm going to apply to my machine piecing. I had done a video with Brother LX3014 and using a piecing foot that is a modern snap-on low shank generic piecing foot. This is my Singer 1588 from 1937. I also recently had out my grandmother's 9913 and was doing the same thing as I'm doing today. Instead of a piecing foot, what I've done is measured a 1/4 inch using the quilter's rule that I have from the needle to this. This was a standard item with the antique machines. It's a seam guide, and it's the same thing in a way as a piecing foot because the fabric hits up against the seam guide. So this is just a very quick video showing you from the back view that you use a seam guide the same way that you would use a new modern piecing foot. Now I'm finding at the end of the seam, the fabric, if you're not guiding it from the back, the fabric will turn a little bit. So it looks like it's wider at the end, but what I'm actually avoiding is it going this way and being narrower. Now the other thing I want to point out, which I think is in that view, I have a spool pin felt underneath the seam guide as it attaches to the bed of the machine. That protects the machine. Also, a lot of people lose the screws that attach these to the bed of the machine, and I have a bag of screws like this. Some of them are too short, some of them are too long, and I found that using, for example, if they're too long, the screw will screw in, but it's not, it doesn't go down far enough to actually hold the seam guide in place. And by putting a felt underneath that, it fills that gap up, and I was able to use 4 or 5 of these screws that I hadn't been able to use before by putting a spool pin felt under there. So that's the 1937 1588 piecing blocks with a seam guide.